Okay, so I made a lot of movie reviews. I said a lot of movies that were good. I made some bad reviews on movies that are particularly not hated. I particularly hated anyways, like Batman vs Superman, Howard the Duck, and Star Wars Episode 7, 8, The Last Jedi. But today we'll be going over the unpopular opinion, The Incredibles. Yes. I decided to watch the Star Wars films that basically made a really crappy review, a troll video basically saying, "Oh, the Star Wars is such a horrible movie," giving no absolute reason why I don't like the Star Wars movies. I decided to see them, and they're actually good movies. But I decided to see The Incredibles at the same time, and it's still not a good movie. I still do not like The Incredibles, nor its sequel. Its sequel completely can go fun as well. Basically, The Incredibles story, let's go over it. Public opinion turns against the superheroes. Basically, this exactly happens in Civil War as well. I would rather watch that than watch this. It is basically Civil War, but it's for kids. If just watch Civil War instead, okay? I'm not being a Marvel fanboy. Civil War basically just had this concept, but it was much better because it was more emotional due to damage by crime fighting. So basically, the entire show of Powerpuff Girls will never happen because they practically destroying the entire city in some episodes. After several lawsuits, the government initiates a superhero relocation patrols, which they forces them to go to other places for some. The story is already just dumb. Like, I don't know when the Civil War comic came out, but because I don't really track comic release dates. This is a movie that came out in 2004, and The Dark Knight already did this as well. Batman was perceived as a bad guy, so he had to get away. Civil War comic. When did the Civil War comic come out? Oh, come out in 2006 to 2007. So the current Civil War is an entire storyline, so it made much more sense than this film. Where it's basically, and there were many other Civil War moments that happened in comic history as well. This film was basically just making basically Fantastic Four dumbed down for kids, and basically dumbed down for kids, and basically about he did push back a train. He did fight against this guy called Syndrome. Yeah, he's important later. Don't forget about that. This guy called Syndrome. He's basically, I want to be a hero too. It kind of reminds me of something else as well. Certain guy wanted to become a hero, but he never gets to become a hero, so he becomes a bad guy for reasons. Because instead of becoming an ordinary citizen, he becomes a villain. Instead of using his own superpowers to become good. Haven't we seen that before in another film? And this is considered a good film? Wow. This is the most boring story probably I've ever seen. Oh wait, there's Batman vs Superman. I forgot about that. At least it is more entertaining than Batman v Superman, which Batman v Superman basically is a long, boring hellhole they can never get out. So 15 years later happened, and Bob Helen, formerly known as Mr. Incredible, Bob is Mr. Incredible, and the last girl is Helen Bob. Mr. Incredible is now this really fat guy, and basically they're making fun that, if he can exercise anymore, you basically get fat because. But this guy, Mr. Incredible, he really became fat. So he's really like a chubby guy now. And the children, Violet, Dash, and Jack Jack. Who the hell names the kid Jack Jack? Live in this place now called Metroville. Bob basically works, and he with his best friend Lucius, which is some black guy who has ice powers. Yeah, we haven't seen superheroes of ice powers before. Frozone. Bob crazily relives the glory days by Moonray as a vigilante. As his supervisor prevents him from stopping a mugging, Bob loses his temper and hurts him, resulting in his dismissal. Returning home, Bob receives a message from a woman named Rods, who gives him a message to destroy a robot, which is controlled by the guy we talked about earlier. Oh wait, that's spoiled. But we're basically going to the entire plot anyways. The droid on this island. Bob battles it by disabling and tricking it off, ripping off its own power source. Bob finds the action on higher pay, because all he cares about is money now. He doesn't. and begins rigorous training, away from more work from Moaz in the next 2 months. Finding a talent at suit, he visits the superhero costume designer in the mode to have it mended, assuming the hero knows that Bob is doing, and knows that to make new suits for the other family members. And goes to the island once again. Bob discovers Moaz is working for this guy called Buddy Pine, who is a former fan. Yes, this guy, he's Syndrome, Buddy Pine. This is, this is the guy who basically becomes evil because he didn't get what he wants because he's a spoiled brat. He still acts like he still is like a spoiled brat because he wants to become a hero. There's the whole Dragon Ball Z again. Well, Mr. Incredible is basically Vegeta. He has a water privilege and Goku does not. So he trains himself to become as strong as him. So now they fight, and basically, Syndrome now kidnaps Mr. Incredible because oh boo hoo, he got rejected as a sidekick. Oh boo hoo, perfecting the Zoid to fight it, even though it can be easily beaten by Superman or Goku. It's just a freaking robot, and the Incredibles freaking ruse to a robot, who will secretly manipulate to defeat it in public, becoming a hero himself, where he sells his inventions so everyone can become a superhero, rendering the term meaningless. Isn't there something called training? Even some guy with a shield can become a superhero. Just look at Marvel. Anyone can become a superhero. And DC, anyone can become a superhero. Batman is considered a freaking superhero, and he's just a normal rich guy. He's just a normal human that's rich. So you can't retain that basically Batman can basically beat you easily. You don't need to be. This film basically had the dumbest message. I'm sorry. This film had the dumbest message. Batman has always done it better. You don't need to be this gigantic beast that has all these different powers to become a superhero. Anybody can become a superhero if they really want to. And really, Syndrome's the only good character in the entire movie, as the Incredibles are the really bad guys who really caused all this to begin with. The people had wondered what Bob is up to. She activates a beacon to find him, and virtually cause him to be captured and while infiltrating his base. Hell unfolds a private plane so they can go to the island. She finds that Violet and Dash have stowed away, basically left, and leaving Zack with a babysitter. Howard's radio transmissions were picked up by a bad guy, who sends missiles to shoot her down. Her plane is destroyed, but she and the kids survive and use the power to reach the island. Yeah, we haven't seen that before. And Dragon Ball Z happened before, where the guys went to go by Boo, where Vegeta died by Boo. Yay, that happened in Dragon Ball Z. Something similar happened in Dragon Ball Z, where Vegeta fought Boo. Such originality. I don't know why I'm comparing this to Dragon Ball Z, but let's move on. So basically, Moaz releases Bob and informs him of his family's survival, hell and wives, and says off to find Bob with their children. The kids are chased by Syndrome's guards. They fend off and defeat them before coming back with the parents, and Syndrome captures them all anyways, leaving them in prison while he follows the rocket transporting to Metroville. The army is always now in Metroville. Finally, these superheroes are so strong, but they lose to a freaking Zoid. I bet 4 can beat that army Zoid easily because he's a god. The powers escape to Metroville in a rocket, and Moaz's ship is now there as well. As per programming, the armored droid recognizes Syndrome as a threat and shoots off the remote control in his wrist, making him incapable of controlling and knocking him unconscious. The Incredibles in Pro Zone fight the army droid. Bob acquires the control, allowing Helen to fight one of the robot squads before destroying his power source. Returning to his home, the powers find Syndrome, who tries to kidnap Zack as his own sidekick to get exact revenge because he's a baby. As Syndrome reaches Zack shoots a laser at him, killing him. And that's basically the ending of the film. And basically the kids, yes, that is totally wicked, and that's basically the end. They survive thanks to Royal. But the but before they said that happened, after that happens, the plane goes around before them and throws a cow. Basically, he gets sucked into the turbine, and now Syndrome is now dead forever. The powers now survive because of force field from the emo-looking girl, and through the records of the plane falls down, and now the house is destroyed. And they now witness another bad guy, and they face a new threat. The Incredibles is easily one of the most overrated superheroes ever made. And I thought Black Panther was overrated, which I might go over that film another day as well. The Incredibles is not really that incredible. Other films that are way better, there's other superhero films I would rather watch, like The Dark Knight and The Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably not the Superman film, since I didn't really, and the original OG Batman films as well. It's one of the only good DC films are Batman films, with the exception of Batman and Robin. That film can also screw itself, and Batman vs. Superman. And the entire DCEU as well. DCEU can go screw itself. But The Incredibles just has a very predictable story. So, good guys are banned, heroes are banned, which is stupid. And they have to live normal lives. And they basically, bad guy appears, does bad things to city, hero saves city, and that's basically it. We've seen that with Superman, we've seen that with Civil War. Civil War was a way better movie. It actually had conflict between superheroes that had more emotion than this film. It says, oh, it's a family, they're doing good stuff. This sounds like an episode from the freaking Powerpuff Girls, which actually happened. Power Girls will no longer allowed to save the city because of reasons. Bad guys destroy the city. Power Girls don't want to do anything, and basically, some guy motivates them to save the city, and that's basically what happens. The episode of the Powerpuff Girls they're better than The Incredibles.